Excellent. In particular, the way we look at prayer in the metaphysical tradition, science of mind, and we even have our own name for prayer. We call it spiritual mind treatment, because we're looking at a whole new approach to prayer. We're trying to deconstruct some of the inherited thinking about what prayer is. For example, what is prayer? Well, it's more than words we've been considering. Although it can use words, all kinds of words. It can use sung words, as we just heard right now, chanted words, as we've just heard, or silent words, particularly because words represent ideas, ideas that are moving. Prayer is not static. It's not something written down only. It's something that's alive and it's moving. In fact, that's a phrase we use frequently when we define prayer. We say it is a movement in consciousness. And what we mean by that, it's our awareness that is moving. I love the word movement to help me understand prayer, because movement means shift from here to there. And what's wonderful about a shift, if I shift something, especially myself, from this perspective I can see that, but when I'm over here, now I see a whole different view. Maybe it's subtle, but it's definitely different. And that's exactly what prayer is. It's a shift in perspective, a movement in consciousness. Sometimes people even think about prayer as a way of deepening their relationship to divinity, whatever that is, building relationship. And I don't mean relationship only like, parent-child relationship, but a more intimate relationship, like what's that great example? The relationship between the drop of water and the ocean. That kind of relationship. So prayer is used to deepen the awareness. In fact, if I think about that drop of water in the ocean, there's not much the drop of water in the ocean can do other than become aware of how absolutely inseparable it is from the ocean. And that's our work in prayer. In fact, when we start to get into that awareness, how close am I with the ocean when I'm a drop? That's when we truly begin to take command of our destiny. And I mention that because that is the title of the second part of our resource book for the month, Miracle Prayer, 9 Steps for Creating Prayers That Get Results. And I love that title, Take Control of Your Destiny. And as we've been discussing this month, it's not about really moving the world around. Taking control of destiny is coming to a real, mature, clear understanding of reality and loving that, moving into it. So the words about this book, it's great. It's got some great resources, and I'm enjoying it very much. In fact, the second section has one of the most complete descriptions of the creative process, the spiritual creative processes that I've read anywhere. Also, what I find in this book are ideas that, maybe you won't agree with. Warning, not everything in this book is what you will learn here at the Center for Spiritual Living. Isn't that wonderful? That we have the freedom to really look into, how does this person teach about prayer? How do we teach about prayer? Because, it's so easy to fall into, we've got the right way to pray. And to anybody tell you that you're not praying right? We got a problem right there. So it's wonderful. You're going to come across things over here that are certainly not the way we do it, and that's how we expand our awareness. Because in Science of Mind, our tradition, we have got a method. We call it, as I mentioned, spiritual mind treatment. And I was thinking about that word. Why treatment? Well, because we're giving our mind a treatment very much in the same way we would give a rose bush a treatment that is infected with aphids. We have an outcome in mind, and that's really what it is. We are treating our own mind because we have some kind of movement in mind from one state to the other. Now, this movement idea I'm coming back to because it's so very important, because we're never in prayer trying to change God's mind. Certainly not. We're never in prayer trying to change God. In prayer, we're not even trying to change the world. We're trying to change our mind. And that's really, really important, so that we can move out of the old idea of manipulating or pleasing or working God or the universe into this deeper, more mature idea of working internally to shift our perspective and really take in reality as it is and seeing it for what it is. We are attempting to move in our mind, in our awareness. Well, from where to where? Well, from wherever you are to wherever would be a better vantage point to see oneness more clearly. From wherever you are to wherever would be a deeper experience of your connection to all things. So certainly we have a formula in mind when we teach people, but it certainly isn't the only way. As soon as an organization starts getting hooked into this is the only way it is and this is the way that, that's called dogma. We use the formula to teach people how to use it for themselves, because it's highly desirable to learn how to treat your own mind. Very beneficial to know some techniques to help you move. And sometimes you don't know how to treat your own mind and move on your own. And so that's when it's important to have a spiritual community, prayer partners, practitioners you can go to, because it's so wonderful to know somebody's working with you. But ultimately the shift is going to have to happen in you. Now, I forgot to bring my textbook with me this morning, but I know that on page 222, paragraph 3, it says that you cannot cure a person of a condition if it is the result of a mental attitude that they are unwilling to surrender. It said, it's beneficial to know what kind of steps can I use to help affect that shift for myself. Because in my experience, even if a miracle does happen and I'm not willing to see it, what's the point? Because I have that power to not see things that are right in front of me. Do you? I have the power to see all kinds of things that aren't there at all. Which is why I so value this work in shifting in consciousness, And the little book gives great resource examples of phrases to use in prayer and phrases not to use. Examples of attitudes to use in the various steps. So it's really great. And she teaches 9 steps of spiritual mind treatment, and we teach 5. And I'm just mentioning this to say that it's not so much about whether you know the right steps. It's, do you understand what you're doing? And is it effective? Because otherwise, what's the point? Otherwise, it puts it out into that realm of, wishful thinking and superstition. If I just say this in the correct way or enough times, something will happen. And it might. But I'm thinking that it's more beneficial to understand in my heart what is this shift I'm looking to do, and then to measure in my own experience, is my world different as a result? So our steps that we teach, they're best dealt with in an unhurried learning environment, not in 20 minutes on Sunday, we're going to review them, but we offer classes, adult education classes for people to really look into these steps. And they're in session right now. They started a couple of weeks ago, and they're signing up again in January. But I'm remembering that sometimes we take feedback from students and say, what was the best thing you got out of class? And frequently they say, it's as if I started to peel back layers of understanding. Now I know what you people are talking about with all that language you use. Now I understand the prayer and what it's intended to do. The steps start to make sense. We started off in the introductory class, and then after that, where you learn about prayer, and then after that you go deeper in like one of the classes, Roots, where you start to learn the rationale behind how was this all put together, what was the thinking around creating this prayer form, and then deeper teaching starts to reveal itself, and slowly hidden truths begin to become apparent, and then the secrets of metaphysical teaching start to show themselves to you. And you're sitting there maybe going, are you serious? There's secrets? You betcha.